Trevor Henderson is known for creating some of the most disturbing and iconic creatures in internet horror, blending realistic photography with terrifying entities that feel like they could exist just out of sight. His work features a wide range of monsters, from towering giants hidden in the distance to humanoid figures that appear in places they shouldn't be, often with very little explanation behind them. In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of these creatures, breaking down their appearance, behavior, possible origins, and just how dangerous they really are. Some of these entities have established lore, while others remain largely unknown, which in many cases makes them even more unsettling. So with that being said, let's dive back into the Trevor Henderson universe. The Arms in the Vent is one of the more mysterious and unsettling entities within Trevor Henderson's work. Unlike most creatures, it is unclear whether this is a single organism or multiple entities acting together. What is visible are numerous human-like arms emerging from confined spaces, such as vents or ceilings, reaching downward into open areas. The arms themselves appear disturbingly normal at first glance. They have a light human skin tone with natural curvature and proportion, but the details quickly become unnatural. Each hand has 5 thin, bony fingers, noticeably lacking fingernails, which gives them a lifeless and almost artificial appearance. In one documented image, at least 7 arms are visible extending from a vent, though it's very likely that more are hidden beyond what can be seen. A second sighting shows similar arms reaching down from a ceiling of a gazebo, suggesting that the entity is not limited to one specific environment. Instead, it appears to manifest through openings, vents, ceilings, or any hollow space above or around a person. Very little is known about its behavior or intentions. The arms do not appear to move aggressively in the documented images, but their positioning suggests that they are either reaching towards something or waiting. This ambiguity is what makes the entity particularly unsettling, as there is no clear indication of when or if it will act. There are some similarities between this entity and others, such as the sewer spider, especially in the way the limbs hang and extend into visible space. However, unlike more clearly defined creatures, the arms in the vent lacks a clear visible body, making it difficult to understand its full form or capabilities. The chicken ghost, also referred to as the god of chickens, is a strange and lesser known entity within Trevor Henderson's work. Its presence is often subtle at first, marked by unsettling changes in everyday life. Reports describe eggs becoming rotten without explanation, sometimes even containing partially formed embryos, along with birds behaving erratically, flying into windows, or gathering in unusual numbers. In some cases, individuals have even woken up with small wounds resembling chicken pecks, suggesting the entity may be interacting with them directly. The creature itself is rarely seen, but its influence is unmistakable. When the chicken ghost is nearby, chickens begin to act in unison, forming groups and producing synchronized sounds almost like a choir. This behavior gives the impression that the animals are not only aware of the entity, but are actively worshipping it. Unlike many other entities, the chicken ghost does not appear to cause random destruction. Instead, its actions seem targeted and purposeful. According to Trevor Henderson, the entity is simply doing its thing for the birds, which has led many to believe that the chicken ghost may represent a form of twisted justice. It is generally considered neutral, but potentially hostile towards those who consume or harm poultry. This gives the creature a unique role compared to other entities, acting less like a mindless predator and more like a force with a specific purpose. Very little is known about its true origins, but it is believed that the chicken ghost has existed for an extremely long time, long enough that humanity may have just simply forgotten about it. Whether it is a guardian, a deity, or something far more unsettling remains unclear. While not overtly aggressive, those who harm poultry may find themselves targeted by the entity's influence. Mr. Bag, sometimes referred to as Mr. Trashbag, is a towering, deeply unsettling entity known for strange behavior and disturbing connection to humans. At first glance, it appears as a tall humanoid figure wrapped entirely in a black, wet-looking bag, with only its face visible. The face itself is pale and human-like, featuring a large nose, squinted eyes, and slightly purple lips, usually resting in a calm, almost relaxed expression, an expression that contrasts heavily with its true nature. Beneath the bag, however, the creature's form becomes far more disturbing. Evidence suggests that inside the bag is a human corpse, wrapped tightly and used as a kind of host. The body inside does not fully fill the bag, implying that the creature itself is something separate, something using the corpse as part of its structure. Over time, the bag appears to stretch and grow, with torn, sagging ends that look almost fleshy rather than plastic. Mr. Bag's size is another major concern. Early depictions place it around 14 feet tall, but later sightings show it growing significantly larger, reaching an estimate of 20 feet or more, suggesting that it increases in size over time. This growth is believed to be linked to its method of attack, as the creature is known to wrap itself around victims, suffocating them and incorporating them into its body. Unlike many other entities, Mr. Bag displays a complex and unpredictable behavior pattern. While it is clearly malicious, it does not always act in aggression. It has shown the ability to form attachments, particularly with children. In one case, it appeared to act as an imaginary friend to a young girl, remaining passive as long as it is given attention. However, as that connection fades over time, its behavior becomes far more threatening, eventually leading to stalking and pursuit. In later encounters, Mr. Bag is seen following individuals over long distances, even keeping up with moving vehicles. This suggests that it may possess abilities such as teleportation or unnatural speed, allowing it to remain close to its target at all times. Once it begins following someone, it becomes increasingly difficult to escape. While it can remain passive under certain conditions, its ability to grow stronger, stalk victims, and absorb them into its body makes it extremely dangerous if provoked or ignored. The Clatter, also known as the Antler Elk, is a haunting entity formed entirely from discarded deer antlers, arranged into the rough shape of a quadrupedal animal. Its body is made up of antlers of all shapes and sizes, fused together in a way that should not be physically possible. Despite having no visible muscles, joints, or connective tissue, the structure somehow holds itself together and moves as a single organism. The result is a skeletal, unnatural silhouette that resembles a deer or elk, but feels completely wrong upon closer inspection. What makes the Clatter even more unsettling is the complete lack of explanation for how it exists. It is unknown what force binds the antlers together, or allows the creature to move without collapsing. There are no visible signs of life within it, yet it behaves as though it is aware of its surroundings. The entity is most commonly found in remote, wooded areas, particularly around places where humans briefly pass through and then leave, such as rest stops, hunting blinds, and isolated tourist locations. Unlike many aggressive entities, the Clatter is described as lonesome, often simply existing within these environments rather than actively hunting. Its name comes from the disturbing sound it produces when it moves. As the antlers shift and scrape against one another, it creates a loud, unnatural clattering noise, accompanied by a sound often described as wind passing through bones. This noise can be heard from a distance and is usually the first sign that the entity is nearby. Very little is known about its true origin or purpose. It may be some kind of natural anomaly, a supernatural construct, or something tied to the environment itself. Its behavior suggests it is not purely predatory, but its size, structure, and presence alone make it extremely unsettling to encounter. While not clearly hostile, its unpredictable nature and unnatural form make any encounter with the Clatter potentially dangerous. The dove is a deceptive and highly dangerous entity that disguises itself as something completely harmless. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than a normal pigeon, often seen moving or flying in confined spaces. However, this is only an illusion. In reality, the creature is a spider-like organism with a jet black body, designed to blend perfectly into dark environments. Its most recognizable feature is a bird-like pattern on its face, which serves as a visual lure, along with glowing red outlined eyes and small piercing pupils. The majority of the creature's mass is made up of what appears to be countless long, thin limbs, but upon closer inspection, these are not typical legs. They resemble human-like arms, each ending in small, bony hands. Beneath this mass of limbs are smaller, more flexible tendrils that may function as fangs or secondary appendages. Its central body is relatively small compared to the rest of it, making the creature appear like a writhing cluster of limbs rather than a clearly defined organism. Based on available imagery, it is estimated to be around 4 feet tall and roughly 3 feet wide, though its true size may be larger when not confined. The dove's primary hunting method relies on ambush and deception. It hides in dark enclosed spaces where its black body becomes nearly invisible. The only visible parts is a bright bird-like marking, which tricks victims into thinking they're looking at a harmless pigeon. Once a person or animal gets close enough, the creature quickly strikes, using its overwhelming number of limbs to restrain and overpower its victims. This behavior makes it comparable to creatures like the anglerfish, which uses light to lure prey in darkness. However, the dove operates on land, making it far more dangerous to humans. Its likely targets include small animals, urban explorers, construction workers, or anyone moving through dim or abandoned spaces. In terms of capabilities, the dove's strength comes from both its size and sheer number of limbs, allowing it to easily immobilize prey. Its spider-like nature suggests it may be capable of climbing walls, moving silently, and potentially using venom or webbing, though this is not fully confirmed. Even without these abilities, its ambush tactics alone make it extremely lethal. Its ability to disguise itself and strike without warning makes it especially dangerous in dark or enclosed environments. The Fencer is a violent and relentless entity that was once human, a highly skilled student fencing champion whose life ended in betrayal. During a match, he was sabotaged by a rival team and fatally injured, and then left for dead and burned in a staged fire. However, despite the severity of his injuries, he did not die. Driven entirely by rage and vengeance, he rose again, now existing only to hunt down those responsible, and anyone unfortunate enough to cross his path. In appearance, the Fencer still wears a standard white fencing uniform, though it is now heavily stained with both fresh and dried blood. His face is hidden behind a fencing mask, but underneath it lies something far from human. What remains of his head is completely skinless, exposing raw muscle and tissue. His eyes, teeth, and nasal openings are always visible, giving him a permanently grotesque and unnatural look. He is always armed, most commonly with a foil, though he has been seen using other weapons such as épées, sabers, and even daggers. The Fencer's behavior is defined by pure, uncontrolled vengeance. While his original goal is to hunt down those who betrayed him, he is now so consumed by rage that he mistakes anyone he encounters as a target. This means no one is truly safe. He is known to stalk victims for extended periods, sometimes hours or even days, before attacking. When he does strike, he often chooses to prolong the encounter, injuring victims in non-lethal areas and allowing them to attempt escape before ultimately killing them. Despite his brutality, the Fencer retains a disturbing level of intelligence and precision. His movements are calculated, almost elegant, reflecting his past as a trained athlete. He appears to understand human behavior and fear, using it to his advantage, often attacking in public or unexpected places to heighten panic. One of his most terrifying traits is his apparent immortality. The Fencer cannot be killed by conventional means. Weapons, including firearms, appear to have little to no lasting effect. This is believed to be due to a combination of extreme regeneration and unnaturally durable armor, possibly enhanced by whatever force is keeping him alive. He is also capable of seemingly manifesting or restoring his weapons at will, making him constantly armed and ready. Highly intelligent, impossible to kill, and relentlessly aggressive, the Fencer is one of the most dangerous entities you can encounter. The singing clergyman is a mysterious and deeply unsettling entity believed to be a partially man-made automaton, with unknown supernatural elements. It was reportedly constructed in 1954 by a man named Robert Lowhill Gaunt, who disappeared along with his entire family shortly after creating it. The machine itself was never fully completed, as its creator was said to be waiting for a final message from the Aether before finishing it, something many believe may be connected to the family's sudden disappearance. In appearance, the singing clergyman resembles a humanoid figure wrapped in worn church robes, hiding most of its body. What is visible is far more disturbing. Its neck is in an unnaturally tall structure made of twisted black wires, bent and segmented at unnatural angles. These wires connect to a partially formed human-like head, which is missing its upper half. Its mouth hangs open permanently, revealing what appears to be a speaker embedded inside, suggesting that its voice is not entirely natural. Beneath the robes, it is believed to have a more complex, possibly mechanical or spider-like structure, though this has never been fully confirmed. The entity remained hidden for decades until it was discovered in 1986 by two urban explorers, inside a concealed room within a church in Ohio. During their encounter, both reported hearing the clergyman singing, describing the sound as something beyond anything they had ever experienced. Despite the incomplete and decaying state of the machine, its voice was described as almost beautiful, yet deeply unnatural. After this encounter, both individuals began to suffer from severe side effects, including extreme insomnia, difficulty concentrating, and an overwhelming urge to return and hear the singing again. This suggests that the clergyman's voice has a powerful psychological or even supernatural influence, capable of manipulating those who hear it. Though it appears to be a machine, there are strong indicators that the singing clergyman is something more than mechanical, possibly a fusion of artificial creation and something divine or otherworldly. Its current location is unknown, raising the possibility that it is no longer confined to where it was originally discovered. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Trevor Henderson's creatures stand out because they don't always follow clear rules. Some are aggressive, some are passive, and others we don't fully understand at all. And that uncertainty is what makes them so much more unsettling. A lot of these entities don't just rely on brute force, but on deception, manipulation, and presence, hiding in places we wouldn't think twice about, or appearing as something familiar until it's too late. In many cases, by the time you realize something is wrong, you're already in danger. So if you ever find yourself alone and something feels off, something that shouldn't be there, or something that doesn't quite look right, the safest thing you can do is trust that instinct and leave. Because with creatures like these, you don't get a second chance. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. And as always, until next time, friends.